All right. Well, welcome to Breaking Down the Tape. It is Zach. It is Hector. I said what I said. And we got the man, the myth, the legend himself, the Burn Man, burner of stone.
The Birdman. I like that. I like that, brother Clayton. Let everybody know where they can find you, man. What you're all about, all the good stuff.
Yeah, so you can look me up on Twitter. I'm Ed Burner of Stone, as it says right there. I'm co-host of the Pick Is In with Matt Kelly. I'm an analyst on the Wrestling Mat podcast, and I host Faces of Fantasy.
Sorry, I'm
I'm
delayed for a second. I'm sharing stuff everywhere, but I love to hear it, man. I love to see you everywhere.
Yeah, it's great. You can find the Pick Is In FFP on Twitter, Faces of Fantasy on Twitter, Wrestling Mat 1 on Twitter. Those are the projects that I'm involved with, on a full-time basis. And
Roger that.
You never know, man. It could go anywhere from here.
What are some of the stuff that you do on a part-time basis? You kind of alluded to that there.
I mean, I like to jump on guest spots every now and then. Like earlier today, I was actually on Front Yard Fantasy playing a game with those guys, with Simon, Josh, and JL. Man, that was a good time too, man.
There you go.
I've been on Rumboys. I try to get on that Sports Me app as much as my internet lets me, because I don't know if you can tell, but it's not the best.
You were saying that. You were saying you have some dinosaur internet out there.
So let me ask you this, fellas. When you get on the Sports Me app and you make a video and you upload it, from the time you click upload, how long does it take it till it's done?
Here at my house, it only takes like 60 seconds.
Yeah. At work, it takes a little bit more longer.
Yo, facts.
Dude, I'll sit there and I'll have my phone sitting there 5, 6, 7 minutes just waiting, just like, come on, dude. Just watching it
that's
tick.
brutal.
The upload speed.
Brutal. What do we got to do out there to get you better internet? Do we need to make you smoke signals? What's the deal, bro?
Here's the deal. So my boy Elon Musk, shout out Elon, what's up? I'm gonna come see you in Texas. But he's got this Starlink. And it's supposed to be. Oh yeah, brother, you heard that right. No, that Starlink's supposed to be active for most of the US, I think in August. So man,
I saw something
Starlink, and I'm waiting for that email that says your equipment's on the way, and then I'll be like 100 up or 20 up and 100 down. I'll be good.
There you go. So are you like a test subject? Did you have to pay for it? Are you going to get a third arm? Like, what's the deal with that?
So you have to pay for the equipment, and it's a little steep up front. It's $500, right?
Ooh.
To pay for the dish, to pay for the router, all that, right?
Sure.
But after that, there's no contract. It's $99 a month flat, man, and it's unlimited. It's the ping is super short because it's low. They're low satellites. So sure. I mean, it's damn good internet for out here, out of boonies.
There you go. Yeah, I respect that. When I'm at work, it takes me like 45 minutes for videos to upload. But I work in like the depths of Pennsylvania. Like I drive 10 minutes on a fucking dirt road to get to work. So, I off the main road. Not like 10 minutes from my house. But yeah, no.
I worked at a cabin in the woods.
Yes, have you ever seen that movie? I'm one of the scientists that plans who gets to get sacrificed. Yeah, that's me. That's what I do.
It's never the merman.
It's never the mermaids, bro. So fun fact about that movie, actually, when my wife and I, we were in college, we were dating when it came out, and we went to less than legally watch it, is how I'm gonna put that. Right. We, the first opening scenes, it looks all scary movie, and then it cuts to a fucking lab. I thought we got like the wrong pirate fucking boot bullshit version. Like, what? And we tried 10 different sites and it all started the same way. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. Let's just watch it. And then it, turned out to be the fucking movie that it is. But yeah, so.
Oh, it's hilarious. I love it.
Are you, by the way, I know where Hector's sitting. He can't watch the game. Are you watching the game going on right now or no?
I'm not, man.
Shame.
I'm not. I got too much lined up today, too much content to get out there. I got to record some episodes for the Pick Is In after we get off here. So, I mean, I'm just focused, man. I'm on the grind, trying to do what I got to do,
I can appreciate that.
I was telling Zach, I was like, I gotta find a way to watch games now because I got rid of cable and everything. So it's like
Ooh,
I don't know what the fuck to do.
See,
man,
I'm looking at
you
investing.
gotta look into Sling.
I heard about that.
Sling is what I have. You get Red Zone, NFL. I mean,
So you're
you
a
can get
slinger,
almost
huh?
anything on it. I'm a slinger, bruh.
Interesting fun facts with the Burner of Stone. He's a slinger. All right, man.
Cowboys are actually up on that game right now.
Yeah, I've got it on my phone here. I'm watching it on my phone. Obviously, volume off, whatever. But who's your team?
Oh, I'm all about the Cowboys. That's one. My ride or die. I'm a Dallas fan. That being said, I've been a fantasy player, but it got me out of that mindset of this is my team, and I've got other teams that I pull for. The Bills, I love. Jets,
Ooh.
I love. I tend
That's
to
the right
pull
answer.
for the Titans. Followed the Titans over Houston when they were the Oilers, you know. So
fair enough. So you're just more of a see, I knew it the second you said you were a Cowboys fan. I knew what the fuck was gonna happen. That is my lovely wife, who is no more than 20 feet above my head right now.
your wife has amazing
Yeah,
taste.
I'm surprised Christy hasn't said anything yet.
So real quick before we dive too much into football, I know this is something Hector wanted to talk about, and I'm going to give you all your due time, sir. Talk to me about the New York Knicks. Talk to the fans about the New York Knicks. I know how motherfucking excited you are, and I want you to have the proper time to explain to us.
I wasn't gonna do it. I was gonna stick to state of football. But all right, you want to bring up the Knicks, dude? It's only been like day 2, day 3 of free agency, and I don't understand why people are like the Knicks haven't done anything. They wasted their money. They kept key players. They kept D Rose, who's going to be a key part of their bench and who's only played for one coach, and it's Tom Thibodeau.
Right.
They kept Alec Burke. Bullock walked, but that's okay because Bullock was just a 3-point shooter for us. So what we did, we went out and got Evan Fournier, a 3-point shooter. He's not the greatest player that I wanted, but it wasn't a horrible signing.
Yeah, but you don't need superstars at every fucking position. You need role players.
And
if anybody proved that, LeBron James has proved that you don't need superstars everywhere. You need guys who are going to do their job effectively.
And then Randall this morning comes up and signs, instead of waiting to play out his contract and getting a max $200 million deal next season, he took less money and signed an extension for 4 years, 117 this year. In total, with the added years that he still has left, it comes out to 5-year, 140.
Right.
And he took significantly less money just to help the cap space for the team.
See, and that's not just basketball that I find this interesting point in. I always find it an interesting dialogue about the culture of the team when you have superstars that are willing to take, or anybody really, not just a superstar, but when you're willing to have these professionals take less money in order to play for you. I think that's a very interesting and indicative dialogue about your team, and the positive culture that you have in it. So I think that in and of itself shows that the Knicks are headed in the right direction. And Kolb's is from Jack and Can, by the way, Burner. So if you don't follow them boys, you definitely should. You would fall in love with them in a heartbeat. Kolb's can talk everything from wrestling. That's why he was asking you before. And John is John, and the life of the party.
John's
Loves everything, everyone.
Looking at this little picture, this little Facebook profile picture down here, I see a truck, a belt buckle, and boots, and a sleeveless shirt. So immediately, we're best friends.
That is honestly that is the most apt description of Kolb's I think I've ever heard in my life, and I absolutely love it. But so talk to me, Clayton. What is your by the way, do you prefer to go by Clayton Burner? You let me know because I feel like I probably should have
whatever you want to call me. Call me asshole if I like here. I don't.
Well, with a group like this, you might get called asshole once or twice, but it's okay. It's all out of love. So talk to me. What are your top sports, man?
Man, I'm a big football guy. I'm a big NFL guy. I love football as a sport.
Right.
There's not enough time in my life, dude. I've got a beautiful wife. I've got 2 young daughters. Yeah, you should get a belt. buckle. But I don't have time to keep up with college too much. And I put so much time into football that, you know, when it's the off season, I tend to not really keep up with baseball or basketball anymore. I used to a little bit, you know, when I lived in San Antonio, all about them Spurs, but
yeah,
you know, after that, it's kind of that's a lot of reason you never see me on sports me like baseball or basketball topics. Like I'll watch and I'll throw points at people, but I really got nothing to contribute, man.
Fair enough. I can appreciate that. So we can stay in the world of football. Why do you think the Jets are going to be better than the Atlanta Falcons?
Man,
I'm poking fun at miles per hour, by the way, from Sports Me, who made a bet with me last week. Last week he made a bet with me. So what do you think about that bet? I bet that the Jets are going to be better than the Falcons and end up with a better overall record. I already know where Hector stands. I think he stands with me. I hope he stands with me, but I want to know where you stand.
Let me break this down from an outside perspective. You know, I do like the Jets, and I always pull for them because they're one of them underdog teams that I want to see do it. You know, I want to see shock the world, man. It would be great to see. And I think that they are going to be a much improved team. You've got Adam Gase gone. You know, you've got some. I love the draft that they had. Some of the the skill players' weapons they got. I love Kenny Yeboah, man. And matter of fact, on Front Yard Fantasy, we were playing a game where you had to name depth chart. You know, the lower down the depth chart you could name, the more points you got. And my first one I pulled out of my hat was Kenny Yeboah. He was an undrafted free agent. He's some that I wanted to see kind of move up the ranks. But as much as Atlanta's defense is perennially ass, I think that their offense is going to be too fire. And so I think that, you know, they're going to be kind of comparable to the Cowboys last year as long as they can all stay healthy, where they're throwing up 40, 50 a game. I have to side with Matt Ryan over Zach Wilson, but I do like Zach Wilson. He's not going to be able to hold up to Matt Ryan MVP. You know what I'm saying? He's going to return to form. He's got big ass, super athletic wide receiver / tight end and Kyle Pitts, man.
Kyle Pitts is going to put in work this year. Kyle Pitts, I'll give him that. Kyle Pitts is going to put in work.
I mean,
not only that, but think about this,
because I drafted Kyle Pitts in a fantasy league, but I still hope the Jets finish better.
You got to think about this too. The run game, their top running back was Carolina's backup last year, Mike Davis. You know, and he's 29 years old, 30 years old, and they got a couple of guys behind him, but nobody who's going to set the world on fire. So, I mean, they're going to depend on Matt Ryan passing the ball a lot and coming from behind, especially. So, I see them putting up a lot of. Record is iffy, man.
Say what you say, damn it, Turner. Come on, man. Don't pussyfoot around. Shit.
All right, you know what? I like a good underdog story. I'll pull for the Jets too. Why not?
Yes.
They're gonna go 5. The Falcons are gonna go 5-12.
So all the Jets got to do is win 6, right?
Yeah. Hey, look, I'll take that. I'll take whatever we can get.
The Jets are gonna end up going like 9-8.
If Colbs keeps talking this way, he's going to be the first one ever banned from breaking down the tape. We're just going to have John on in the future. Colbs is not allowed.
It's not going to be jacked in can. It's just going to be jacked.
Yeah, no can, just jacked. From now on, when I refer to jacked and canned, I'm only referring to the jacked portion. Talk to me. So I know we were talking a little bit before about underdog stories. Maybe this doesn't really count as one. But first, before I've been letting you go first a lot, Burner. So let me get to Hector. What do you think about Ronald Jones down there in Tampa Bay, Hector? I know that he's been getting a lot of unnecessary hate. Well, some people say unnecessary hate alluding. What do you think about Ronald Jones back down there as a running back? As the running back, I should say.
I feel like he's been forgotten after last year. Like you don't really, because he had an injury, right?
I don't know if he. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if he played the entire season. He played 14 games, 13 games.
I see, and that's weird because every time they played, all I kept hearing was Fournette, and I feel like Tom Brady is more comfortable with Fournette. So even if Ronald Jones starts the season with Tampa Bay. I don't see him really ending the season with Tampa Bay.
Just as a quick side note, my wife is 100% correct. Unnecessary to call me out, but 100% correct. And yeah, Hector, I have to say I agree with you, but I don't know if it's so much unwarranted. I mean, and I'm sure me and Burner are going to get into a fight here. I just don't think he's all that good. I don't think he's bad. I just don't think he's all that good. I think there was a reason we kept hearing about Fournette and Tom Brady and the wide receivers. It's because Jones just was largely okay.
Oh, are we on to me now? Because let me break this down for you real quick. You got Ronald Jones, man. Ronald Jones, you got to think about when he came into the league, man. He had some issues. He had some issues in pass pro. He had, some issues, finding the hole, getting yards. But what you have here is you have a guy who, when you break it down, is a talented running back who has done nothing but improve since he's been in the league. Every year he improves. Then you've got Leonard Fournette. Now, I don't know if y'all were playing Dynasty when Leonard Fournette came into the league, but I was. And I remember the 101 in rookie drafts was either Christian McCaffrey or Leonard Fournette. It was about 50-50. It depended on who you liked. Now, thinking about that now, okay, who delivered and who disappointed? You know what I'm saying? Fournette, I'm not saying he's a horrible running back, but man, he seems to get these breaks every so often that just kind of make people think he's better than he really is. And he's a disappointment when you look at where he was drafted, when you look at, the fact that he's on his second team. And yeah, him and Brady are boys. I'll give him that. AB and Brady are boys. But Bruce Arians, if he's not getting it done, he played a lot last year because Rojo was banged up at the end of the season. That's why playoff Lenny was a thing, and it's the only reason. Rojo was banged up. They had to ride Leonard. They had to ride the hot hand. I mean, if
I don't understand.
Go to my Twitter. Go here. Look at my pinned tweet. My boy Herms broke it down. I made a little video, pretty funny, but he brings up valid points.
Okay. I don't understand a lot of the Leonard Fournette hate a lot of the times, because when he was on Jacksonville, it didn't end well between him and Jacksonville. But when you look at his stats, he was a 1,000-yard rusher every year.
Yeah, so like I said, he's not a quarterback. He got a lot of it done on volume. He got a lot of it done on the fact that, he was the guy there and there was no Rojo to compete with. So I think this year you're going to see a lot more Rojo and a lot less Fournette. And that's the way I see it breaking down.
I don't necessarily. So first of all, let me preface everything with, I think running backs are so quick to go by the wayside just simply due to the nature of the NFL right now, that you have to be, Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey to perennially be somebody that you should pay, right? These freaks of fucking nature. So I will give him credit there. And I'm looking at his stats and you're right. He has improved. And maybe I guess you could make the season or the excuse or the argument of, because Bruce Arians doesn't necessarily have a run, favoriting offense, he's very much risk it for the biscuit. Let's take it down the field. Mm-hmm. That it's kind of hurt his perception, his value. But I just don't see Rojo being the reason. I mean, yeah, we're going to see him get a lot of touches, but I just don't see him being the defining reason why the Buccaneers can go back to back. I just don't. And maybe because we're spoiled. Maybe because we're spoiled in a league with fucking Derrick Henry and Christian
Tom Brady
McCaffrey.
is going to talk to the Saints. He's going to trade Fournette and Rojo for Alvin Kamara. Kamara's going to take significantly less money and they're going to win the next 5 Super Bowls in a row.
All right. It was good being here, fellas. I got to go after that. That was
that internet connection's getting real shaky right about now.
What happened?
I'm driving through a tunnel. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. By the way, just as an update, so I have the game going, but I have not paid a lick of attention to it. According to Colbs, the Cowboys just had a field goal block in game 1 of the preseason. Is this the end for the Cowboys season?
Yes.
First take tomorrow. That last comment gets me, though. Stephen A is going to be all over the Cowboys' ass tomorrow morning on ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
You can book that shit right now. He is 100% right there.
He's going to come out with his cigar. Oh, yeah.
Cowboys fans, where you at? So speaking of though, how much? And Hector and I talked about this earlier in the week on our last episode. How much faith do you put in like this training camp hype, this preseason hype? You know, like Cowboys just had a field goal block. Is their season over? Kind of, narrative that surrounds her. Elijah Moore scores, 360+ yard touchdowns in training camp, and oh my God, he's the next fucking Jerry Rice kind of conversation. Like what? There's been a lot of that on on fucking Twitter right now.
When I look at it, like preseason hype, the way I tend to look at it is if I hear like one big report and then hear nothing, I kind of let that slide, man. I'm not about it. But what you really have to pay attention to is the negative stuff that you hear, because 9 times out of 10 that tends to be pretty accurate. And then so nobody, and I guess outside of fantasy and Jets fans, is really blowing up about Elijah Moore. But you keep hearing these whispers. Dude's unblockable. They can't block him in the red zone. These little things coming out. They're leaking out over and over and over. That I pay attention to, because when you hear it repeatedly, it doesn't have to be a big news drop. It tends to kind of trend in that direction.
And I'll give you a lot of credit there, because you're right. At first, it was just Jets fans. At first, it was just Twitter. But I have seen some major, I think Michael Florio tweeted about it, or somebody along that caliber was like, hey, Elijah Moore has a real chance to be something this year. You know what I mean? So
essentially,
on like a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah, well, exactly. See, I was just talking to my wife. I was just talking to my wife this morning because, she's recently really into football, since we've been together. So there's still a lot of the nuances of the game that she doesn't understand. So, you'll see a lot of this a lot of this news, or she'll hear Hector and I talking about, we saw this, we read that, blah, 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 blah. She'll be like, well, how much, faith? Like today, Dak Prescott didn't play in the Hall of Fame game because of soreness in his shoulder. I was like, first of all, if a coach says anything, don't fucking believe him. I don't care at what point in the fucking season he says anything. If a coach or a GM says something, do not listen to it, because they're lying, especially right now at this time of the season. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's starting on the PUP list. Everybody's, you know what I mean? Like nobody is good right now. Fucking Nick Sirianni over with the Eagles. Oh yeah, Jalen Hurts isn't our starter yet. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Who else you throwing out there?
Right. Yeah. Okay, big shoots. Like you're still holding out hope for Deshaun Watson? Okay.
They about to track for Nick Foles.
I think something else Hector and I talked about. I think Nick Foles is going to be going down to Indianapolis and haunting Carson Wentz.
He's going to Indy. He's going to haunt Carson Wentz. He's going to take Indy to the Super Bowl, and they're going to trade Carson Wentz. They're going to give Nick Foles another big ass contract for him only to start the one season of the contract, and then they're going to end up trading him anyway, just like the whole saga continues.
Kolb's with another gem, though. Now he's back on. We can talk about the canned portion of Jacked and Canned. It means nothing except when Mike Greenberg says it on Get Up tomorrow. That will broadcast through the network for the rest of the day. Jets in 7. Kolb's for the win. No, but speaking of, Hector, I want you to tell Burner and the fans exactly what you think about Carson Wentz and his injury and his career.
He's fucking garbage, man. This guy is just, like, me and Zach have said it time and time again. He is the world's, like, second okayest quarterback. He is fucking Ryan Leaf incarnate. Like, this guy is trash. He had a fluke MVP type season where he couldn't even finish it out because he got hurt and his backup went on to win the Super Bowl for him. He had no competition in college, so he gets this number 1 top fucking pick out of thin air, and people are like, oh, he's gonna be fucking great. Where has he been? What has he done for me lately? Like,
what has he done? What has he done ever? Not even for me lately. What has he done ever?
Finally, he gets his way and he gets away from the Eagles. He manages to still fuck the Eagles over because all he needed to do was play 70% of his games and they get a first
round.
A first round pick.
So, what do you think about that, Burner? I mean, look, let me say, before I leave Hector hanging out to dry, I agree wholeheartedly. When Jared Goff was drafted, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? This is the world's most okayest quarterback. At least the fucking Eagles will do something better at number 2. And then Carson Wentz's name was said. I was like, who the fuck is that guy? The second world's most okayest fucking quarterback.
So Wentz guys that he's really good unless he's injured, or unless he doesn't have a good offensive line, or unless he doesn't have a run game, or unless he doesn't have like a really good wide receiver core, or unless he's under any kind of pressure, because then he crumbles. He's really not that good. In the right system, we saw him do okay. And now that he's back under Frank Reich, I mean, I think behind that line, if it's healthy and he's healthy, I don't think that they're going to do horrible. I mean, I think he's a passable quarterback. I'll take him over a Blake Bortles or a Mike Glennon, but at the same time, if I'm looking at, the other starters around the league, I might go give me a
Gardner
Taylor
Minshew.
Heineke. I mean, Gardner Minshew, exactly. Give me somebody like that. I'd rather take a shot with the upside than, because you kind of know what you got in Wentz, man.
Hey, you can never say no. You can never say no to a man with a mustache and some jorts.
Right. Rocking that kind of mullet with that kind of swag. Come on now. But he's a true
player for real.
Yeah. So first of all, when did the standard of quarterback play become Mike Glennon? Did I miss something on NFL Twitter or TikTok or wherever the fuck you've been that Mike Glennon has automatically become the fucking standard of quarterback play?
No, but I do remember. I think it was the Buccaneers. Remember that year that he came in and he did good, so they were like, "Okay, we're going to sign him as our starter." And look how long that lasted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. Shows a flash or two, but that's about it.
Fair enough. Second point: Did somebody in the Colts organization intentionally piss off God? So the timeline of things, and I completely fucking forgot about the first part, right? So Frank Reich gets COVID, and then he's out for like 2 weeks from practice and training camp and all that. And then Carson Wentz, it's a foot injury, but not a big deal. And then, oh my God, we've got to get a fucking bone removed, and he's out 5 to 12 weeks because, that's a small gap of fucking time. And then the arguably the best guard, if not lineman in the entire National Football League, comes out and is like, oh, fucking cool. I got the same fucking injury, because that's a fucking contagious thing, apparently. What has Indianapolis done as a city? What has Indiana done as a state? Somebody in that organization, how have we fallen so far from God with the goal?
There must be a certain pothole or something that they're all or like there's somewhere in the stadium where they walk and there's like that one crack in the floor where they're all hitting it and chipping the same bone in their foot.
Right? Are they fucking like practicing barefoot? Like, what the fuck is going on out there?
I've got a theory about this. So,
ooh.
I believe that Pat McAfee is a gift from God, and they didn't try hard enough to re-sign him when he wanted to retire. They didn't try hard enough to retain him. And
allegedly.
I look at my guy announcing on SmackDown. I mean, allegedly, yeah, for the brand. That dude's money, and they just let him retire. Like, come on, man.
It's going to be set up perfectly. They're going to reach out to Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is going to come back at like week 6, ready to ball out. He's going to ball out. They're going to give him a 2-year contract extension. Carson Wentz is going to fucking come back healthy. Phillip Rivers is going to look him in the eyes and be like, I'm the captain now. Sit down, bitch.
He's going to adopt him as his 20th child.
Yeah, I was going to say he's going to treat like one of his 11 kids, man.
So that brings me to my next question is, who's starting for the Colts? Who's starting week 1 for the Colts?
Jacob Eason.
It's Eason season? You're on that train right now? It's Eason season?
He starts week 1.
Ooh. Interesting
week
caveat.
it could be Phillip Rivers to come out at this point in time and say, I'm not opposed to coming back and playing another season. I think they're gonna give Eason maybe a game or two and then see what he does, and from there they're gonna have Rivers on standby saying, hey, look, if he's not cutting it, come back and play the rest of the season. We'll give you this amount of money.
This is the thing that's interesting to me, is that's been like Phillip Rivers for some reason has been the name that's thrown around. Joe Maldonado brings up a good point. Don't forget about Andrew Luck getting battered into early retirement because who needs protection?
Oh.
Now, they've recently fixed that with the Colts, save Quentin Nelson getting hurt. Why is Andrew Luck not in this conversation? Why is everybody automatically going to Phillip Rivers and not the original coming of Christ that was Andrew Luck?
So I'm going to say they don't go to Andrew Luck because he would say something if he's coming out. He would.
You think? This is a dude who surprised everybody and walked out onto the field, and one day at practice it was like, it's been a blessing. Thank you. Toodles.
I feel like if he wanted to come back, he would come back. He's a very smart man. I feel like he's not going to take that risk now. If he's been out long enough, I feel like if he was going to come back, he would have already came back.
You don't think all of the things that enticed Wentz to come down there, all of the protection, all of the weapons, yes, he lost Quentin Nelson, but do you really think that that's such a blow to the line that they've dropped from 1 to 20 overnight? Like, you don't think that's enticing enough for Andrew Luck to be like, all of the things that made me retire were fixed. Let me go back. That's completely out of the realm of possibility.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. When I look at the situation, though, I think it's going to be. They traded for Wentz. They're stuck with Wentz for a while. They're stuck with him through a whole lot of money. I think when you're looking at it, they know they don't need him back because they have Wentz and apparently believe in him. So they just need to fill it, man. And Phillip Rivers, this might be the last year he's physically able to do. Luck could wait another 2 years and still come back and do it, man, at a high level. But you look at somebody like Rivers, it's we're going to get him for cheaper. We only need a holdover till Wentz is good.
Right.
That's where they're going to
go.
And
he's going to trade for Fitzmagic. It's going to be Fitzmagic 77th team in his career.
Be magical.
I brought this up before about Gardner Minshew. Kolbs is an old man trapped in a young man's body. Can't figure out technology these days. You can't figure out how to screenshot it. Minshew, I did see this, said he hasn't taken a shit in 2 weeks because he doesn't settle for number 2 in response to the quarterback competition. First of all, like, the legend of Gardner Minshew is just too big to ignore. Apparently, like, the shit he's harboring. Secondly, what are the chances that, speaking of holdovers, right? You want to get somebody on the cheap. I can't imagine Gardner Minshew, draws a huge price to anybody but myself. Gardner Minshew leading the Colts week 1.
I don't think he goes to the Colts. I have thought a lot. And we're hearing that trade rumors are heating up between Houston and Philly for Deshaun Watson. So look at it this way. If the Texans bring in Jalen Hurts and a whole handful of first-round picks, and let's say Hurts is not cut out for that offense, there is no reason they couldn't turn around and throw one of those first right in Jacksonville's face for Gardner Minshew. I like that fit.
You like the fit of Minshew in Houston, or Minshew's worth a first round?
No, I'm just saying they'll have plenty of draft capital to make a deal happen. It won't be a first for sure, but they'll have the draft capital to kind of throw it at Jacksonville and say, give us Gardner. You're not going to play him. He'll be our starter. Come on.
Guy's gonna go out.
But I do like the fit of him in Houston.
Fair enough.
I see him in that uniform in that team.
And I get that, but it's just jarring to me that they would make such a trade, especially given the atmosphere surrounding Deshaun Watson right now. They'd make that kind of trade and then just a year later, presumably, or somehow through the season. I don't know what your timeline is, but then turn around and just throw that man right out the window.
Jacksonville technically doesn't need Minshew right now. They got Tim Tebow as a backup.
Well, so that's interesting. Do you really think Tim Tebow's a backup quarterback in that system, according to Urban Meyer?
First of all, it was a joke. But since we're going there, I don't put nothing behind Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow.
No, and I agree with you that it's a joke, or at least it fucking should be. But there are people, idiots out there that that seem to think that could possibly be a thing. And I don't know. It's not too far outside the realm of possibility if Trevor Lawrence has like a record bust, like fucking 40 interceptions and 5 touchdowns kind of situation. That do they at any point do they turn to Tebow and be like, yo, we need you? Like, is there any point that becomes reality? Or is that all like Tebow fan wet dreams?
Yeah, pretty well.
I'd say Tebow wet dreams, man, because like that's a slap in the face to like Gardner Minshew and everybody else to be like, all right, so this guy who hasn't played in years is going to come in as a tight end and yet play quarterback.
But see, well, that's exactly it. Isn't it already a slap in the face that Tebow's even fucking out here? Like, I feel like I know how Hector feels about this, but how do you feel about this, Burner? Like, how do you, like, I think Hector agrees with me here, and if I'm wrong, he obviously correct me. But I think it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit that Tebow has had such a phenomenal opportunity after failing out of the NFL, being out for so many years. Guys have trained their entire lives to get here, and just because he knows the coach, here you go. You get this spot. Good luck.
I mean, no matter where you're at in life, dude, knowing somebody helps. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. But back in the day, too, you got to think about this. When Tebow was playing, they wanted him to convert to tight end, and he refused because he said, I'll go get a quarterback job somewhere else. And it never happened. Right. A couple of years later, now he's like, okay, you know what? I kind of do want to go play, so fuck it. Let's go be a tight end. You know what I mean? And I think he's more there for veteran presence to kind of help, Urban keep control of the locker room and have that positive influence he wants, rather than he's there to make an impact in actually playing. So that's just the way I see it.
He's definitely going to play. He definitely going to play.
That was going to be my next question. So you think he gets a roster spot simply to back up and be a veteran presence? You don't think he's going to get much playing time at all? Obviously, Hector feels that he is, but how do you feel?
So I don't even know if Tyler Ive's still on the roster, but I know they traded away Josh Oliver to the Ravens. So when you look at their tight end depth, I mean, I think O'Shaughnessy's still there. Maybe they might not have any other tight ends as far as I know. And that's a position of weakness for them. It always has been. So, yeah, I mean, looking at it that way, there's definitely opportunity for him. It's just a matter of if he can get it done.
All right, Hector, how much playing time? We're talking 50% of snaps, 45.
He 30. Ends up the second string, but then becomes this the guy who like pretty much starts.
So we're talking like 50 to 60% here.
Yeah, he might not be on depth chart the number one guy for tight ends, but by the middle of the season, he's going to be on the field more than that number one tight end.
What about you, Burner?
I could see that happening. I really could. Like I said, I don't know if Eifert's still on roster or if he was a free agent. I can't remember.
Yeah, same. He's kind of disappeared from my school.
Yeah, looking at the depth that they have at tight end, I don't see any reason he couldn't be out there for 50-60% of snaps, especially if he can get out there and block. I mean, they're gonna need a lot of that. So
I'll give him credit. Have you seen him? Have you seen recent pictures of him? Holy shit.
Beefcake, bro.
Man's been training with Jesus.
And he's had pretty decent connection with Trevor Lawrence.
He scored a touchdown the other day in training camp, and I for sure thought ESPN would never shut up about it. But it really didn't play as much as I had assumed it would in the beginning.
No, because the Giants are too busy.
Tight end 8 overall.
What'd you say?
He's gonna finish tight end 8 overall, fantasy wise. Watch.
Ooh.
Watch. He's gonna finish somewhere ridiculously high.
There's not many tight ends to compete with.
Shoof.
It's Kittle, Kelsey, and the Waller, and then after that you can toss up
Fant, Goddard.
Yeah, don't sleep on who's up there. Jonnu Smith up in a Patriot system.
I like Hopkinson. I like
went up there as well. We all know how fucking we all know how motherfucking tight ends. They're killers up there in New England. So you don't sleep on them. That was funny.
Yeah, they gave Jonnu the bag too. So
that kid in Atlanta. Are we talking about Hooper? Cole
Pitt.
Austin Hooper. Oh, Pitt. Kyle Pitt. Duh. Fuck.
Yeah, Kyle Pitt.
I go
Hayden Hurst, obviously.
Holy shit.
Hayden
Yeah,
Hurst.
obviously.
Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah. T-Gons. I actually love T-Gons. I'm not going to lie. Another topic you wanted to bring up, Clayton, as I steal all of the things that you wanted to talk about.
All good.
You seem in that group chat there to be kind of high on these. Oops, sorry, as I fuck around with my iPad here, on these Bengals wide receivers. You think that?
Well,
what did you want to talk about? That are you trying to shit on them? Are you going to say they're the best receiving trio in the country?
No, absolutely not. Here's the way I see them, and this is just I want to see where y'all kind of fall on this because I know y'all keep up with football like I do, so it's more of a matter of putting aside. Heard about Joe Burrow recently and his struggles, returning to health after just 8 months. I mean, he's getting back to the level it's just a matter of time. But I've noticed a lot that people, now that Jamar Chase is there, it's kind of like they're just completely writing off Tyler Boyd, who had a consistent role and has had a consistent role since he's been there. And not only that, but man, I don't know about y'all, but give me T. Higgins over Jamar Chase, man. Higgins is a superstar, bro, and he is going to explode this year.
I like Higgins.
I like Higgins. I'll take Higgins over Chase. And I think the only reason I say that is because Chase hasn't taken a fucking NFL regular season snap yet. So it's hard to see. Of course, everyone looks great in training camp. Everybody looks great in college. Everybody looks great on training film. All the good shit. But you will see what you got when you actually go out there. So I'll agree with you there. But I think Jamar Chase's potential far surpasses Higgins.
See, I like Higgins, but I wouldn't put him over Chase. Chase has too much chemistry with Burrow. I'm riding that Chase hype train. I am mad because I wanted to try to pair Burrow and Chase in fantasy, and I couldn't do that the way everything panned out. But he has the weapons without Chase. You just adding Chase just gives him a safety blanket.
You can't sleep on a dude who has the balls as a rookie to pick number 1 as a wide receiver. Come on now. That's confidence. That's confidence that changes the game, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not to the point where I'm saying fade him at all. I just think after seeing what T has done and seeing the potential that's there, Jamar, I'm not saying that his upside doesn't surpass, but for now, to put him above Higgins to me is ridiculous, man. I have to see it on the NFL level before I'll even consider that.
I can get behind that. 100%. I mean, I don't like anybody I don't like the takes where, each rookie is, oh my God, he's the next coming of so-and-so. He's the next to this. He's going to be, I do think Chase has an extremely high upside, but I agree with you.
I just feel like he has a slightly better, more advantage into it because he has that chemistry already with Burrow. It's not like he's a fresh rookie coming into the league with a quarterback he's never played with. He has to try to build the chemistry and earn that time to get the ball and the reps. He's already done that with Burrow. So when shit hits the fan, Burrow, when those moments where he goes into instinct and not, his progressions, he's gonna be, oh shit, Chase is there. Let me just throw it at him.
Right. I also think he's gonna have a great rookie season because T. Higgins is so good, because Tyler Boyd is so good. I think he's gonna benefit from the defense having to choose your poison. And I think they're gonna choose the rookie poison and leave him more on an island than they would fucking Higgins, who, like you said, is a superstar. I think is a great receiver. And if I had to choose, I would probably make Jamar Chase show me what he has versus what I know Higgins and Boyd has, Yeah. But you also brought up interesting news about Joe Burrow's struggles getting back to healthy. I agree with you. I haven't seen great things. I've seen actually very concerning things for Cincinnati fans. Again, kind of leading back to what we said before about training camp hype or not hype. You said that you put stock in the negative things. The things that we've heard are pretty negative coming out of that camp, at least comparatively speaking. Where do we put Joe? What do we think he's going to do this year?
So I think being only 8 short months removed from tearing every CL in his leg, I don't think he's going to be the Joe Burrow that we saw, but previous to the injury right now. I think they might start off the season with him having to lean on Mixon. And I think that by the time Joe Mixon gets injured this year, which inevitably will happen, he'll be back to form. So it'll be all good.
Do you fall into the Joe Mixon trap? I don't think Hector did you draft Joe Mixon, or do you plan on drafting Mixon in the Degenerates?
No, I didn't draft Joe Mixon, and no, I wasn't planning on drafting Joe Mixon this year, but I did think I drafted him last year.
Yeah, I think you dropped him and I picked him up. So, Bernard, do you fall into the Joe Mixon fucking injury trap?
I think I took him in one startup, and that's because it's a super flex. And so what I did was I actually started a QB, which I never do. I just want to see how it fell. And so I ended up getting some studs. I ended up getting, I think, CD, and I mean, it was just, and he ended up falling to like the 4th or 5th. I was like, you know what? I'll grab him because he's there, because he's a value at this point. I don't think he's going to stay healthy, and I took plenty of depth behind him. And matter of fact, I took, I want to say I took Samaje Perine, and I grabbed Chris Evans, who looks like he might take a lot of that work that Giovanni Bernard left behind, that receiving work.
Right.
But yeah, at a certain point, he's going to go down. So if I can grab his backups later, I feel better about it.
Right.
That's the thing with Joe Mixon, though. People, they let him drop in the drafts, and then when it finally gets to like that 5th, 6th round, and you're looking at all the running backs, you're like, well, he is the best back at this point. Like, you gotta grab him.
A gamble.
Yeah, especially versus how late you can get him, what his value is. Speaking of value in drafts, I'm going to grab me some ice. While I do, I want you gentlemen to start the conversation about who your top 1 or 2 fantasy sleepers are this year. Give me a moment.
Damn, top fantasy sleepers. I mean, there's just so many fucking people, though. Oh.
Man, I can throw one out there real quick for you. Like I said earlier, Adam Troutman for the Saints, man. I think coming out of Dayton, a smaller school, he has that athletic profile, that breakout tight end profile, and now you look at the fact that not is Jared Cook gone, but Michael Thomas is injured, and the receiver depth behind him, it's not Trayvon. He ain't the guy. And who did they bring in? Chris Hogan. So it's going to be the Saints until Michael Thomas is healthy is going to be a lot of Alvin Kamara catching passes out of the backfield, and it's going to be a whole hell of a lot of Adam Troutman. And that dude, like I said, he's got that athletic profile, that breakout profile. He was from a small school, and they had Jared Cook last year, but now he's on. Troutman's on top of the depth chart, man. He's about to ball out.
So I will give myself some credit, some pat on the back. Hector and I put out this topic on an episode, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, before training camp really went hard. And I just have to say, I said Elijah Moore from the beginning. Elijah Moore was my dude from the rip. I thought he had some of the highest upside out of anybody in this draft. So that was my number one sleeper. I don't know. I don't remember who I necessarily had second, but as of recently, I'm not going to lie. Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is like my second, I think. Again, it's one of those, like, either it's going to play out terribly for me and people are going to be pulling receipts on this for the next fucking 100 years, burying me under it, or I'm going to look like the most brilliant man on the face of the fucking planet and there will be no in between. But recently it's been Jameis Winston for me.
Yeah, but see, when it comes to fantasy, I wouldn't put Jameis Winston as a sleeper because we all know what he can do fantasy-wise. It's just outside of fantasy.
Fair enough. And I guess that's a good point. I mean, within fantasy, we do know he can throw, 30-something touchdowns. The interceptions are a problem, obviously, that, take away points. But, I guess I can see. I think the reason I have him as a sleeper is because of just the storm that surrounds that quarterback room right now, Michael Thomas hurt kind of situation. But I think that's going to lead to a lot of opportunity for him to just kind of go wild. And I think his mobile ability combined with Alvin Kamara back there is going to cause a lot of fucking issues. And let's not forget, even underhand forward passes still count as forward passes. So even little fucking chip shots or forward pitches or whatever, that's a complete pass. So, same.
Yep.
I'm you know what? I'm throwing this name out there only because we already spoke about him. And because fuck Wentz. Eason.
You think it's Eason's season? You think he's gonna fall right into the perfect storm out there in Indy?
Sleeper out there.
So I put this up.
He's gonna ball out, and Wentz is gonna lose his starting job.
Especially, and I'll tell you what, especially if Quentin Nelson makes like a 5-week comeback and Wentz takes like a 12-week comeback. Put this up a little prematurely before. Colbs doesn't necessarily think it would be a sleeper, but he thinks Calvin Ridley is gonna go absolutely batshit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a sleeper, but I'm interested to see how he goes as the number one role now that Julio's gone. Even though Kyle Pitts will still be a second, option, and I guess take the eyes and the double teams away.
What do you think about Ridley, Brenner?
If I remember right, last season, there were some games when Julio was out, and I think the only person that was really affected by that, because then when Julio was out, Calvin was up in that number one role, and then behind him you had Russell Gage and that Olamide Zaccheaus, but Hayden Hurst, for some reason, seemed to do a lot worse when Julio was gone. When Julio was on the field, he did a lot better. But Calvin still balled out when he was the number one, and he had nobody to take the attention off of him. So I think that with all those same guys, but now you have Pitts. I think Pitts is going to see his fair share of work because he's not a tight end. He's a wide receiver who's labeled the tight end. I mean, he's a cheat code. But at the same time, I think he's going to do better than last season when he was the number one. He's gonna ball out for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes top 8.
So I definitely agree that, first of all, Pitts is a cheat code. I mean, he's lined up. They've had him lined up as tight end, but he's also been all over the goddamn field for the Falcons in training camp. So I expect.
Yeah, but that means Travis Kelce isn't a tight end.
Right. Well, that's exactly. I have to say I'm ignorant of Pitts' blocking skills. I don't know if he can, pass or run block worth a damn. Yeah, not so good. I didn't think so.
So here's the thing with Kelce. Kelce is like the epitome of a tight end, dude. He's what you want at a tight end. But when you watch him, I mean, he's not burning a 4.3 40. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when you look at Pitts, he's just a really tall wide receiver. He moves like a wide receiver. I mean, so that's the difference. He's not going to block. They're not going to line him up in line to run block. He's going to go out and he's going to run routes and catch passes. That's it.
So at what point do we start calling Pitts a wide receiver? At what point do we all just accept, or fantasy leagues, ESPN and Yahoo and all of them just accept the fact that he is not a tight end? When do we see this universal understanding?
I don't think you do. I think he is a tight end. That's what he was drafted as, and because of his size, they can leave him there. It's just he's a tight end with a wide receiver skill set and wide receiver speed. I mean,
but you don't think
that's
that's a dead giveaway? If he lines up as tight end, he can't block, so they're not running that way. They're not, you know what I mean? Like, you don't think you're essentially lining a fucking wide receiver up at tight end when he can't block? So what's the point anyway? Like, from a
so I think the point of that is, the point of that is a linebacker by himself is not going to be able to cover him, so you're going to have to pay special attention to him. And guess what, Ridley? He's one-on-one on the outside.
Fair enough.
There's a lot you can do with
him. It's not like you're putting him out there and he's not. Like, they're going to do run plays with him. He's going to block on plays.
Right, but I just say the reason that and maybe this is like such a basic way of looking at it, but I guess if I see him out on the field, and I guess I just have to fucking make bets, but I'm running like a nickel blitz, right? You know what I mean? Like a read nickel blitz. If I see him lining up and don't motion out, okay, go fucking attack him. Attack that fucking block. Make him block you. Line up as an inside fucking linebacker and make him fucking block you. Now, if he motions out, okay, play off or, whatever the deal may be and cover him man to man. Even if I'm running a zone, then fine, I'm going to make him on an island. I just feel like, and maybe that's just a far too simple explanation of a simple way to neutralize, because he can still beat you physically. That's not like an end all say all, but you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I just feel like it gives part of it away. You almost have to run away from him in that scenario, otherwise it's just going to get fucking wrecked. And how many times do you want a guy that you look at as a wide receiver to be blocking blitzing backers or blitzing corners in that situation?
And you could probably see a little bit of RPO. You know what I'm saying? You could see a little bit of him hitting that block and breaking off, something like that. It's just I don't know what exactly they're going to do with him. And I could be wrong. He could be out there blocking right beside Hayden Hurst, but I just don't see a lot of that.
No, and I agree wholeheartedly, because I don't think he's a fucking tight end. I think he's as much as a tight end as Taysom Hill is.
I mean, we can just say one thing. With Matt Ryan, he is going to get his lick of touches. He is going to get over 1,000 receiving yards.
I can back him.
He's going to get double-digit touchdowns.
How long are we seeing Matt Ryan in the game for? How much time do we have with Matt Ryan?
2 more years. At least in Atlanta.
Ooh, I don't think he goes anywhere else. I think this is it. I think this is his only destination.
2-3 years max. I think he's out. I think they're already looking for his replacement. They kind of told us what they're going to do with the way they drafted, because they had every opportunity to grab his successor, and instead they grabbed Pitts. So they're going to make a run for it, man. They're going to do whatever they have to do to try to make it to the playoffs, make it to the Super Bowl. And so that lets me know that he's nearing the end of his career. And if they don't get the shot in the next 2-3 years, I mean, they're moving on.
Atlanta's going to make a move for Deshaun Watson.
Everybody's going to make a move for Deshaun Watson.
Then you have the second coming of Michael Vick in Atlanta.
Woo! In so many ways. The legal trouble and everything. What
except he's not hurting dogs, he's hurting women.
Oh, yeah, that's way better, apparently. No, that's just a kid. That's a joke before anybody fucking calls the FCC on us or anything fucking.
Or Zuckerberg's gonna shut us down.
It's a fucking joke. Leave me alone, or leave Hector alone. Leave somebody alone, for the love of Jesus. Final thing before we go, we've talked a lot about rookies and the like. Talk to me about rookie running backs. How do we feel about, Najee Harris being, the next coming of Christian McCaffrey, about Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne? Talk to me. How do we all collectively feel about this rookie running back class?
I can give you a rundown real quick of how I'm looking at some of these top guys.
Sure.
So Najee, not the second coming of Christ, but he's going to get it done on volume. He's going to get all the touches in the world, especially with Big Ben getting, older. I'm kind of curious to see what Ben's going to look like this year, especially after the confidence shaking last year. I mean, he didn't look himself, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. But Najee's he's going to run the hell out of the ball.
Right.
Javonte, I love. I don't necessarily know if he starts the starter, but he within a few games will take over from Melvin Gordon. Etienne, I don't know what to think about Etienne because of the fact that James Robinson he's too good. Nor he did too much last year, and he's on too cheap of a contract for them not to use the shit out of him. So I think you're going to see a lot of passing work from Etienne, and I think he's one of those guys they move all over the field. I love Michael Carter. He starts the season. He is a perfect fit for that offense. He is that and go running back. He is a little undersized, but you know what? He is elusive as shit, and he will do work. And Trey Sermon, they're going to run Mostert until week 4, week 5 when he gets hurt, and then it's Sermon season, and that's his team.
I honestly can't disagree with you anywhere. I mean, we've already seen Etienne be moved all over God's green earth. Now, it was like the biggest thing when he was worked out at wide receiver in OTAs and stuff, and it was like, all right, chill. This isn't the first time running backs have gotten receiving work, especially in this air raid offense era of the NFL that we're playing in. I drafted Najee Harris, and I agree with you this year. I think, it's going to be all volume from him. I don't know how I feel about him long-term, especially with all of that high volume in the beginning. I mean, the not for long, what the NFL stands for, is truly true for running backs. I think the average lifespan of a running back is like fucking 2.5 years or something just ridiculously absurd like that. Now, it might have gone up recently because of, the passing game takes a little bit off of those fucking, hole hitting style hits. But I just think that kind of volume with not the league's best offensive line is going to cause some fucking problems for him out there. I just think that could potentially harm any sort of long-term future, for him. Fantasy implications, take him in a redraft this year, maybe taking him in a dynasty and bet, try and trade him while he's young. But I don't think
you think
long-term.
Todd Gurley?
What?
You think he becomes a Todd Gurley?
Yeah, actually, I think that's a great fucking comparison. I think he does. I think he's going to be a good running back who gets it mostly done on volume and unfortunately fades into the background because of injuries.
You know who I can compare him to? Leonard Fournette.
I can see it. I mean, kind of the same way as Todd Gurley, right? I mean, both kind of in the same category of running backs who again, great breakout seasons and then just kind of into the distance. I hate to be like this. I hate to be a homer. Michael Carter excites me ridiculously in like real football implications, in redraft, best ball, dynasty implications. He's running behind Elijah Vera Tucker. He's running behind Mekhi Becton. Don't sleep on the Jets' offensive line. This is one of the, if not the most improved offensive line, one of the better offensive lines this season. And I think he's going to go batshit.
We already spoke about it. The Madden ratings gave Mekhi Becton a 99 pass and run block, like fucking ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of things are going to come together that have Michael Carter just have a devastating rookie season where he just has a monstrous campaign in like every way possible. The fantasy people, I think, are going to go nuts. The NFL people are going to go nuts. I think everybody, he's running. I don't think he's going to get touched. I'm willing to wager on 50% of his touches, he's not going to get touched by a defender until 3 yards down the field. At least 3 yards is going to be like his average, yards until contact. Because I just think the holes are going to be that nice for him. I think the Jets are going to I think it's going to be another potential for the future as far as volume goes, because I think he's going to be another one. The Jets are just a ground and pound style offense. I think he's going to be
but they also got backs, though. The Jets have backs. They still got Perrine. They still got
Tevin Coleman.
Yep, Coleman.
Yeah, so I mean, I have to be the homer here, and maybe it's all the fucking goddamn Twitter hype that's gotten to my fucking head, but I really like Michael Carter. Both Michael Carters, first of all. Secondly, but the running back Michael Carter.
I do believe it takes that second Michael Carter a few years for him to get his shine.
Do you on the defense there?
Yeah.
Did you see that joke, Burner? That the Jets drafted the wrong Michael Carter first, so they had to go for the second one. It would be the Jets thing to do. It would absolutely be the fucking Jets thing to do.
And something else that kind of under my skin is all these people over here still talking about Tevin Coleman. He was supposed to have done it years after. Oh, when he leaves Atlanta, he's gonna go be a starter. Bruh,
yeah.
Tevin Coleman ain't it.
I think had the Jets not drafted Michael Carter and Michael Carter hadn't looked as good as he does, I think Tevin Coleman would be it. Again, the offensive line, I think, is going to be just a massive reason. Now, I think Michael Carter is going to get it done by himself down the field. His yards after contact, I think, are going to be great. But I think Tevin Coleman would have a pretty damned good, 1,500 yards rushing had he been the starter, had the Jets not touched Michael Carter.
I thought Coleman was going to be the starter until they got Michael Carter. And then I still believe that because of the 49ers connection, Salah's connection, Coleman is still going to get significant playing time in different roles.
Okay. I don't hate that. I mean,
and he is going to be if he's not the starter, he is the number 2 back.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think, unfortunately, Perrine hasn't lived up to what we wanted him to be. Perrine was supposed to be the first Michael Carter, and that did not work out the way Jets fans.
I mean, he didn't get any chance, though. They didn't really give him any chance.
Well, there's a lot of, with the Jets in every way, shape, and form about football, there's a lot of what ifs that come out of the Adam Gase era. You know what I mean? Like, what if Adam Gase wasn't the coach? Would Le'Veon Bell be any good? What if, would Sam Darnold be as garbage as I knew he was going to be from the day he was fucking drafted? Or would I have had to eat my words and he would have done something? You know what I mean? So
you will know week 1.
Yeah, I will know when he throws 4 fucking interceptions. Yeah, no, he is not.
He's about to ball out in Carolina.
Yeah, he is. He's in a ball out. I keep saying it, and I said what I said. He's a top 15 fantasy quarterback.
Hey,
scrub-a-dub
question real quick. What was his name? The last quarterback that was under Gase that went to another team and balled.
Oh,
Ryan Tannehill.
Up.
That's who it was.
Oh, yeah.
That's who it was.
Oh, yeah. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, CMC, bro.
Not going to happen. Scrub-a-dub.
He got his boy Robbie Anderson on a better offense.
Yeah, he is a turnover machine. He had everything he needed in fucking USC, and he still sucked. He is a turnover machine.
So I hate USC. I still played him in fantasy.
Hector's probably going to go try and get him in the Degenerates League, and I fucking know it. He's been riding that fucking train for a while now. This is more than a one-time talking point between Hector and I. All right, guys. Do we have any other topics that we want to bring up, or do we want to let Hector get some sleep before he's got to be up in a couple of hours?
Yeah, let's let him get to it, man.
Yeah, Hector needs all the beauty sleep he can get.
Say that too loud. Chrissy will yell. She was like, he sleeps all day.
Burner, before we let you go, before we have Hector do his thing, remind the fans where they can find you. What kind of content they can expect from you, all the good shit, man.
Sure, man. Let me break it down real quick. So you can find my personal page on Twitter at Burner of Stone. I do post a lot of wrestling stuff, football. Those are my 2 fortes. I've been with the Wrestling Mat podcast since day 1. I was on the first episode, and that was my first ever podcast. That was my entry into podcasting because Matty Daddy. Big shout out to Matty Daddy.
Love Matty Daddy. That dude's awesome.
Oh, dude, I love him. But yeah, I love wrestling. Real big into what AEW is doing right now too. So I have Faces of Fantasy. I bring an analyst on. We talk about stuff other than fantasy football. Let their audience get to know them a little more personally. Let them tell their story away from football and tell their backstory, getting into, producing fantasy football content. And that's just a platform that I have out there for people to kind of come on and promote their stuff and let people get to know them. And that's all it is, man. It's just a platform that I like to provide. And this is my latest right here. The pick is in. Me and Matt Kelly. You see me up here. You see Matt Kelly right there. We're gonna be going twice a week until the season, and then we're gonna throw in some Sunday morning live streams. We're really gonna get deep into this thing. We're looking at a couple new things. Trying some stuff out, seeing how it goes. But yeah, the pick is in. We cover everything: DFS, redraft, best ball. Dynasty. It's all there. So definitely come check us out. You can find all of those on Twitter.
I love it, man. Well, by the way, before we have Hector do his thing, of course, the Boston fan wants to show up as we're saying fucking goodbye. That's fantastic, James.
Fucking Jimmy Pibbles.
Great fucking job. Good Jimmy fucking Pibbles. Job, Tim. For the love of Jesus.
Hey, Jimmy Pibbles is always welcome, even if it's for 5 seconds.
Jimmy Pibbles for president. Hector, do your thingy thing.
All right, guys. And this is Burner Stone here with Breaking Down the Tape. Till next time. Remember, football season will be coming. We'll have a lot of Thursday lives.
This is the last. We have football till February, motherfuckers. Yes!
You said what we said, bitches.
Said what we said, bitches.